Thanks for watching Workspace. My name is James Robertson. The website is workspacerealestate.com. In this video, we're going to perform a live search in Greenspoint. We're looking for deals. I got a client looking for the best rate possible in the Greenspoint market in Class B or C properties. Okay, so that's going to be our focus. Just to give you a quick snapshot of Greenspoint, most of you are already familiar with the location here, but the rates for Class B spaces can be, you can have $24 per square foot per year for Class B, all the way down to maybe $16 per square foot per year. And for Class C office spaces, you're going to have rates that on the high side are maybe about $15, $16 per square foot per year. And on the lower end of the spectrum, it can get pretty crazy. I mean, I've seen some amazing deals in Greenspoint, and as of March 23rd, 2015, there's some deals that are less than $11 a foot, substantially less than that we've been able to do in this part of the market. So let's get into some options for my client here. Now, I've already selected 15 options that could work, and I want to get into those really quick. So some of these are industrial properties, because when you have an office space, if the industrial property is mostly office space, it's a tremendous value for people that are looking for just office space and they don't need the curb appeal of a office. So let's go ahead and look at some of these options. So Greenbrier North Business Center, they're at $6.60 per square foot per year. It's going to be cheaper because it's industrial space. That is very, very competitive for a Class C industrial space. You know, what I like about that, the curb appeal is not great, and I'll open it up, but you're not getting it for that reason. You're getting it for the price point. This is a older building. It definitely doesn't look like it's built in 1980. It looks like it's built a little bit before that, but it's well maintained. It has good property management. It's definitely one that I would tour. Now, here, or most people recognize these buildings when you think about Greenspoint here. The 507 North Sam Houston Parkway, or 521 North Sam Houston Parkway, or 525. This whole cluster of buildings here, they're almost identical. They look the same on the inside. If I was a tenant here, I probably would go to the wrong building all the time by mistake. This particular building, Boxer manages, but management here changes all the time. One thing I would tell you about this cluster of buildings here, you do have to be careful about who owns it and what, how they're doing. There have been a history of some inexperienced building owners in this part of the market, and they'll purchase these buildings thinking that they can lease these up really quick with some great tenants, and things just don't work out the way they want them to, and then next thing you know, they're in trouble themselves. And so the tenants here have gone for a roller coaster ride. Boxer's not one of those groups. They're typically very stable with their management, but it doesn't mean that they would not sell to someone that is not as stable, and that does happen here. So you need to be careful. The rental rate does change a lot. I mean, they're listed right now at $8.50 to $13 per square foot per year, and they should be, because the occupancy is pretty, is not as high as other parts in the marketplace. But I still think it's a great value play if you're looking to save some money. So that's definitely one I would tour with my clients. And let's pull a few others out of here. Now, 256 North Sam Houston Parkway, on the other side of the freeway, is another great example of a building that is curb appeal is pretty decent. You know, they have solid property management here. The rates are also aggressive at $10 per square foot per year. So these are, when they're listing at these rates, that's pretty exciting for people that are looking for a great deal. And what's important when you look at buildings like this is that you get something that's managed by good people. That's what's important. NAI Partners is a solid group. They have a great reputation here in the Houston market. And so when they list a building like this at this rate, I feel more comfortable about taking my clients to tour a space like this versus someone that is inexperienced that purchases a building and lists it at $10 a foot. You got to think it has to cost them at least $7-8 a foot just to run this place. So they're not really making that much off of the rent. It's extremely aggressive. You got to think it's part of a strategy to get this leased up quick to increase rates. But the fact that it's on the freeway like it is bodes well for a long-term play here. If you're looking for a 5-year lease or longer and you need some curb appeal with visibility from the Beltway, this is a great option, and I think it's going to be maintained well into the future. Let's see what else we have that's a standout that I would tour. Now I have to talk about 262 North Belt here, because this is a property that they've been really aggressive. Their management company is not as well known. They don't have as large of a footprint, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But when you go inside this building, you know, I've seen a lot of salons and a lot of non-traditional tenants that were in buildings like this. And sometimes that happens when people get aggressive and landlords lower their standards to allow a couple of tenants that usually have trouble getting in office spaces. They make an exception for them. But what happens in buildings like this is when you make those exceptions, then it becomes harder when the market shifts to get good tenants, because they don't want to be next to a salon, or they don't want to be next to a massage parlor or something to that effect. So this building here has gotten caught into that too. And for the curb appeal at $12 a foot, you know, the buildings right next door are less than that, and I think they need to adjust their rates, especially considering the fact that they, in my mind, offer less, a less stable property management, less experienced ownership, and they're offering this at a higher rate. So this would be something that if the landlord was willing to compromise on the rate or have some kind of incentives, then it's worth a tour. But if they were holding fast at $12, there's just too many options in Greenspoint for this to be a solid pick. So just to finish things out here, I mean, if I'm setting up a tour tomorrow, I definitely want to see the Sam Houston Plaza, these cluster buildings here, just to see what type of values are going on right at the time. Century Plaza Business Park, I think there's great value, because I know personally several office layouts here that are just amazing for the price point. They have some really, really good layouts, and for those that need kind of a retail type feel, even though it's an industrial property, it has that feel to it, and you have to kind of see it to believe it. But the rates are great, and that's definitely worth the tour. When you get to like 450 North Sam Houston Parkway, and you know, I think I said 256, you know, maybe at $12 per square foot per year, it's not something that's really exciting if you're looking for the best deal possible. But when you get to options like 256 North Sam Houston Parkway, at $10 a foot, that's exciting with solid property management. And I hope they stay there for a while to kind of get the market going. Is there anything else here? I think those are the ones that I would pick to take a look at. I've been in all of these, and they're all nice buildings, and they would all serve most tenants very well. But it just goes to show you how great the deals are here in Greenspoint. If we were to go from this market, and if we were looking at downtown or the Galleria or Sugarland or off the Energy Corridor on this side, I mean, the rates sometimes are twice as much, literally. And for people that have concerns about security in Greenspoint, you know, if you look at the numbers statistically, the crime rate in Greenspoint is actually lower than several other markets in Houston. Greenspoint has a bad reputation because of the Greenspoint Mall traditionally, and that's been going away. A lot of people forget that Exxon has a couple 100,000 square feet still in Greenspoint, and if you try to go on campus, their security is pretty good. It's very good. And so I haven't heard of many problems there. And the tenants I talk to all the time, I get very, very little negative feedback on security concerns here for people in some of these parks. Now, if you're close to an apartment complex, you're always more open, no matter where you are, to vandalism and theft inside the cars and whatnot. And that's something that should always be paid attention to. So you should talk to local police department about what life is like near apartment complexes if you're next to that. But Greenspoint is definitely a spot that should not be overlooked. The only market that I would say is even more competitive than this is on 1960, which the rates have just been ridiculous recently. But that's another video for another day. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful.